The drama continues. It's not going anywhere. So Darian Mensah's leading receiver from this past year at Duke, Cooper Barkate, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, had 72 catches, over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns for the Blue Devils in their ACC championship season. 3 years at Harvard, one at Duke. He's got 1 year of eligibility left, and he's reportedly going to enter the portal here. The old Brian Windhorst meme comes to mind. You know, that moment where he was talking about, I think it was the Utah Jazz, and he had that he puts out the fingers, one pointer finger to each side, and he just kind of leans back. I'm describing it for the audio audience, of course, and he just, why would they do that? Why would that happen? Now, when you go into the portal, you can come out at any time. And theoretically, if he wants to play with his quarterback again, who just threw the ball to him to the tune of a 1,000-yard season and an ACC championship, theoretically that could happen. He could be waiting to see. Or, here's where my mind went. Would he enter the portal if he didn't think that Darian Mensah was going to be able to play at a different school? I don't know. There is the possibility as well that we have to leave ourselves open to, that these two events are entirely separate. And all of a sudden, a 1,000-yard Power 4 receiver just entered the transfer portal. Can't rule it out. Would Miami go and get both in a package deal? Wouldn't put it past them. I don't think the Canes are about to slow down their momentum with all of this. But the legal jargon, I'm not going to dive super deep into it because I don't think it makes for a very good program here. I'll just tell you what you need to know according to the legal documents and those that have reviewed them even more thoroughly than myself, where we currently stand as I record this show. It's kind of funny in a way. It's not, but it is. Mensah is able to enter the portal, but because of the contract, which has not been nullified by a settlement and was indeed signed by Mensah and his party for a 2-year deal to play for the Blue Devils, he cannot enroll at another school. He cannot play for another school. And he cannot license his NIL rights to another school because Duke has those. So, how many of you have seen Inception? Let me know in the comments below. Great movie, one of my favorites of all time. Christopher Nolan, best director of this generation. At the end, Leonardo DiCaprio's character has to go into limbo to find Saito because they were sedated too heavily. And so when Saito got shot in the dream world, instead of waking up, he went into limbo. And Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Dom, went to go save him. And he did. Who's going to go save Darian Mensah? Who is his Leonardo DiCaprio? We'll see. He's probably hoping that it's his legal team. I don't know who is watching this situation with more abated breath. Duke fans or Miami fans? Because in the midst of all of this, Duke has perhaps started to accept the possibility he won't be there next year. They hosted Winston Eget, transfer from San Jose State, 2-year starter with the Spartans. I think he'd be respectable, solid, capable. He's not the caliber of quarterback that Miami would be looking for if Mensah doesn't wind up playing for the Hurricanes in 2026. Maybe he'd be the only option left. I don't know. They've at least explored the possibility. I don't think that indicates, I think that's Duke covering all their bases. I don't think that they're hosting a quarterback is them throwing in the towel and saying, no, we're just not going to be able to keep him here. Because this is actually, on the whole, at the moment, a win for Duke. Now, they haven't gotten the outcome that they are seeking just yet, because, of course, what they would like is for Mensah to pull a Damon Williams and say, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I was wrong. I made a mistake, and try to mend that relationship. Because, yeah, you'd rather bring back the leading passer in the ACC than just let you do a conference championship. That would indeed be situation A for the fine folks in Durham. Well, in this scenario, I should say. But this just keeps unfolding. It's not going anywhere. By the way, do not be surprised if Trinidad Chambliss has an announcement on that front in the next couple of days. Heck, that could drop on Thursday, and I can almost guarantee it'd be the lead segment on my Friday show. So all these legal battles and debates and whatnot, I think for college football fans, broadly speaking, at some level you have to just embrace and accept it, that this is going to become commonplace. Because as I've laid out before, I don't think this is high in the list of priorities for all the changes that are going to arrive in college football. I think you're going to have a playoff format. You're going to have a playoff television deal. You might have some calendar changes. Where in all of that, and from which authority, does the enforcement of NIL deals that are signed come into play so that schools can stop, suing their quarterbacks to not leave? Where does that come from? I don't know. I hope it arises, because I don't think this stuff is good for fans, which is who I'm always thinking about and looking out for here on this particular program, because I am a college football fan, and that's who the sport is really for. Remember the COVID season? Some places had limited capacity. Some places played football games in front of cardboard cutouts. It didn't even feel like football. It technically was. If you're not doing something to serve fans, you should ask yourself why you're doing it. The answer is usually money. And I'm sure that's the case here for Darian Mensah. He's not thinking about the Duke fans. I think he's thinking about the opportunity to go play for a team that was just in the national championship game and was one drive away from winning the whole darn thing. And he's thinking about the fact that he just got $4 million for his first year at Duke. I don't know if the contract says that that's null and void if he, opts out of it after a year. I wouldn't think so, because that would be making less money. Like if the offer from Miami were, let's say, $6 million, if you were foregoing, I don't think that's how it works. Anyway, the opportunity to make a couple million more dollars, a lot of money. It's a lot hard to say no to that sort of cash, but this will not be the last time. I'd like to think that the Duke wide receiver, Cooper Barkay, going into the portal isn't connected. I just wonder, Blue Devil fans, because again, this was a win. This was a win for Duke. That Mensah can go in the portal, but he can't enroll in the school until this is ruled upon, which is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I think one thing everybody can agree on, we'd like for this to get figured out so that everybody can move on from it mentally and assess, okay, what's our plan of action? Who's Duke getting at quarterback? Where is Mensah actually going to wind up? When can that whole process get going? I hope we can all agree on that part of it.